Okay, I hope your Pesach is going really good. This is Makkot and Tosefta. This is additional material, supplemental material to the Mishnah. So if you're doing the Daf Yomi, covering the Mishnah and the Gemara, you can check these videos out, playlist for Makkot, and get those additional brightot. So here we are in chapter 2 of Tosefta, Makkot, chapter 2, Parak Beit. These are the one who go into exile. If one intended to hit the wood and hit a man and killed him, to hit a chip and hit a man and killed him, lo, this one goes into exile. If a chip flew from a log which was being split and killed a man, lo, this one does not go into exile. The words of Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi says, in this case, he goes into exile. If one was letting down utensils from above to below, and the rope snapped or slipped, lo, this one goes into exile. If he was drawing up a jug, and it hit someone on its way down, one goes into exile. If it was not on its way down, he does not go into exile. Rabbi Yehuda says, one way or the other, he does not go into exile unless the entire rope falls from his hand. If one was rolling with a roller, and it rolled over a man and killed him, oh, this one goes into exile. I think this is for roofs. A roller for a type of mortar that's on the roofs. Rabbi Shimon says he goes into exile only if all the loops fall from his hand. A butcher who was chopping meat and hit someone behind him and killed him, lo, this one goes into exile. If one did not know that there was a baby in the crib and he sat on it and killed it, if he did not know that there was a man in the pit and he tossed a stone into it and it crushed the man and killed him, lo, this one goes into exile. A court officer who hit someone at the instance of a court and the person died, lo, this one goes into exile. An expert physician who administered a remedy at the instance of a court and the patient died, lo, this one goes into exile. He who chops up the fetus in the belly of a woman at the instance of a court and killed it, lo, this one goes into exile. He who throws a stone in the public domain and killed someone, lo, this one goes into exile. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov says, if after the stone left his hand, the other poked his head out of the window and received it, he is exempt. And then it is said, as it is said, if it finds his neighbor and he dies, that is, he is liable only. If his neighbor is available to him at the moment at which he does the deed which kills him. So these are the ones who do not go into exile. If one was chopping wood and hit a man and killed him, chopping a chip and hit a man and killed him, lo, this one does not go into exile. If the iron slipped from the piece of wood which is being split, lo, this one goes into exile. The words of Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi says, in such a case, he does not go into exile. If one was drawing something from below to above, and the rope snapped or slipped, lo, this one does not go into exile. If one was drawing the roller, and it went and rolled over a man and killed him, lo, this one does not go into exile. If one was chopping up meat and hit it and killed someone, lo, this one does not go into the exile. If he knew that there was a baby in the crib and sat down on it and killed it, if he knew that there was a man in the pit and he tossed a rock into the pit and it hit the man and killed him, lo, this one does not go into exile. It means they're, guilty for murder. Well, not guilty, but that it's not qualified as an unintentional murder. Okay, so a court officer who administered a blow not at the instance of the court and killed the man, lo, this one does not go into exile. All go into exile because of manslaughter of an Israelite, and an Israelite goes into exile on their account, except on account of a resident alien. A resident alien goes into exile or is flogged only on account of another resident alien, his fellow. So an Israelite goes into exile or is flogged on account of a slave or a Samaritan. And a slave or a Samaritan goes into exile or is flogged on account of an Israelite. A slave who went into exile to a city of refuge, his master is not liable to provide him with food. And not only so, but the fruit of his labor still belongs to his master. A woman who went into exile to a city of refuge, her husband is liable to provide her with food. But if he said, let the fruit of her labor go to her in exchange for her upkeep, the right is in his hand to say just that. A blind person does not go into exile, the words of Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda did declare him exempt from the death penalty and from flogging. The sages say, lo, he is treated as a person of sound senses for all purposes. One who bears enmity for the man whom he has killed does not go into exile. But he is not put to death except on the evidence of witnesses and after suitable warning of the consequences of his deed. Rabbi Yoshi ben Rabbi Yehuda says he is put to death forthwith, and this constitutes adequate warning for him. Rabbi Shimon says this is one who has harbored enmity who goes into exile, and there is one who harbors enmity who does not go into exile. When occasion arises, rule as follows. If he killed knowingly, he goes into exile. If he killed unknowingly, he does not go into exile. If the rope snaps, lo, this one goes into exile. If it slips from his hand, lo, he does not go into exile. If the iron flipped out of its haft or out of its handle, even not as it was coming down, he does not go into exile. Whither does he go into exile? To the cities of refuge. And if he killed someone, this one goes into exile. When the occasion arises, rule as follows. There are two sorts of those who commit involuntary manslaughter, and two who commit homicide. If one has committed homicide on the testimony of two witnesses, and after suitable warning, he is liable. If he did not do so at the testimony of two witnesses and after suitable warning, he is exempt. In a case of one who committed involuntary homicide, if this was as the object being brought down, he goes into exile. If it was not as the object was being brought down, he does not go into exile. Where does he go into exile? To a city of refuge. And in the case of the wilderness, he goes into exile to the camp of the Levites. A Levite who goes into exile goes to another district. But if he goes into exile to his own district, lo, this affords him protection. Okay, that's the end of Parak Beit.